When I walked into this building the first time, as it is today, all I could think about is it turned out so much better than I even could imagine.
For nearly 4 decades, they held on to an idea. The history of the Forest Service deserved a home. Not simply a place to store the past, but a place where its stories could live again.
Our organization was started in 1988 by a state forester that really wanted to help the Forest Service preserve its history.
For years, supporters gathered artifacts, preserved memories, and searched for a way to turn that idea into something permanent.
We had an institution, but we didn't have a place to anchor ourselves. And so luckily we had enough people who believed in it, had faith that we could do it, and came together and made it happen.
What they created is more than a museum. Before visitors encounter the first artifact, the building begins telling the story.
It is a building that is inspired by our trees, by the forest, with these tree-like columns, which are the signature elements, and they hold up a folded roof, which are like kind of the canopies of the trees.
Its columns rise like trunks. Its roof unfolds like a canopy. And throughout the building, different species of wood represent forest from across the country.
Building is actually an encyclopedia of many wood and timber technologies.
Traditional heavy timber stands alongside some of today's most innovative wood products. Every species, joint, and structural detail offers another lesson, connecting the history of wood with its future.
We designed the building to be an exhibit in and of itself, with all of these different types of innovative wood products that we've used, as well as timbers from different species of our forested lands across the United States.
Then the deeper stories begin. Stories of fire and research, of recreation, forest products, and public service. Stories carried in photographs, tools, uniforms, and memories. Some visitors came to learn. Others came face to face with pieces of their own lives.
So they don't go back far enough for Jack.
I'm seeing a lot of smiles from the people, smiles of happiness. Everybody from board members and people that have been involved in this project for a very long time, and almost like kind of a very viscerally emotional response from them.
For retired employees, the experience offered more than remembrance. It offered recognition. The work they performed mattered. The people they served mattered. And the stories they carried finally had a place to belong.
I am really hoping that when we have Forest Service current and retired employees come to the building and see the exhibits, that they have this sense of pride. The agency has done so much over the years, and it's not really well understood by the American public.
The center does not present conservation as a finished story. It reveals the difficult choices, changing ideas, and countless partnerships behind the lands Americans know today.
I want people to leave the museum with a better understanding of conservation. The fact that it's different from preservation, the fact that it really takes a lot of different partners to make conservation work.
You use it, you respect it, you protect it, and you keep it for future generations.
But behind every exhibit is another story. The story of the people who refuse to let this history disappear.
There are so many people who believed in this and wanted it to happen who are no longer with us. We owe it to them to continue it and to make sure that we have a group of people behind us.
Their faith built more than a museum. It created a place where old friends can remember, where families can discover, and where a new generation can understand the responsibility it inherits.
I have 5 of my 6 grandchildren here, and I hope they feel about their role in the world in the years ahead has changed because they were here.
Nearly 40 years after the dream began, Forest Service history finally had a permanent home, a place to preserve what came before, a place to understand what it can teach us, and a place to inspire what happens next.
When you walk through the doors, your heart says, wow. And that opens up your mind to be able to think about things in a different way